15 minutes to the top of the hour as we continue through this Tuesday. Mark Oppold, thanks for joining us, whether watching RFD-TV, tuning in on rural radio perhaps, channel 147. Tuning in with us here, helping out on the day, Rich Nelson from friends at Allendale. Rich, of course, the trade looking at those progress numbers every Monday night and into Tuesday here. Let's take a look at the same here, if we might. Get your thoughts here. What progress we did make in that eastern belt from where we were sitting 7 days ago.
You know, we have made some moderate progress in this recent days. As far as Illinois, of course, one state which has had problems. They moved from 75% corn planted last week, now 89%. That actually puts Illinois right next to the 5-year average. Indiana still maybe a little behind, 76% done right now. 5-year average is 78. Over on the Iowa side of things here, they're actually 73, which is also the 5-year average as well.
Ohio there. Now, let's take a look at that same trek across Interstate 80 as far as soybeans are concerned. And, again, making good progress this week.
And that certainly was true. Illinois going from 23% in the previous week to now 48%. Very aggressive pace made as far as Illinois soybeans. They're still a little under the 5-year average, though. Same story here as far as Indiana, 23% last week, now 47% complete. So as far as that goes, good progress there.
Right. And Ohio from 19 to 43%, and their average 5-year is 47. Now, Rich, we go from here to the condition of this crop. Some of these, now USDA, as a nation-wide look, will start next Monday night to give us a look at the corn condition. But some of these individual states have already started their own condition surveys, if you will. And again, pretty low numbers to start the season.
You know, it certainly was. On the positive end, at least Illinois, which is the number 2 corn state, they had their second rating of the year so far, and they went from 42% good to excellent last week, very, very low, to now 51. Still a problem, but at least a little rebound here. Iowa, the number 1 corn state in the nation here, they actually had their first number as of yesterday. A good, strong 75% good to excellent.
So take a look at the markets here. The futures, corn futures right now, and get your thoughts there, and beans as well. Rich Nelson joining us from Allendale. Down, taking everything back from the gains yesterday, Rich.
That's pretty much exactly right. Corn off about 4 cents, beans off 4 cents. Looks like this trade is saying for the very short term, we're kind of balanced between this heavy old crop supply environment, a lot of producers holding a lot of full bins of corn. On the other hand, a lot of valid concerns about new crop supply. Lower acres, plus now likely lower than trend yields.
And then so basically 4.5 lower in corn, 4.5 lower in soybeans. Take a look at wheat at this moment in Chicago, down about half of that, about 2 cents lower in the wheat trade. And they're good to excellent ratings, not showing a big drop or change, I should say, as well.
Not too much. That's right. The total winter wheat ratings increased 1% yesterday. The trade was expecting a 1% decrease. So overall, those crops fared okay given this heavy precip in the previous week.
So down a couple cents in Chicago, which at Kansas City, and wheat futures there another about a penny more, 3.5 lower. Minneapolis right now showing down to 3 to 4. What's in that spring wheat belt that would push it a little bit more?
You know, for right now, they are waiting on these rains, which they say might be lined up here. And for the most part, they've had a very good, aggressive spring planting. No serious problems at all for North Dakota's, which is responsible for over 70% of all spring wheat production.
Very good. We'll take a break here. Come back. Rich Nelson joining us from our friends at Allendale. We'll see what the things about the post-cold storage report and our livestock futures update there coming up after this. You can set your clock exactly 10 minutes to the top of the hour. That means time for your livestock update here on a Market Day Report. Helping us do that, Rich Nelson from Allendale. We go back to Rich, and Rich, I guess the trade always looking for fresh information, and they have that yesterday in that cold storage report. Nothing earth-shattering. Bottom line, a lot of analysts want to call it neutral to a little bit bearish.
Yes, sir. It looks like as far as the B stock numbers, 458 million pounds here was seen at the end of April. This number actually was a little higher than trade estimate, and as a positive note, about 2% under last year. So B stocks maybe reflecting a slightly less, slightly reduced pace from the as far as demand from the previous three very strong numbers. Over on pork stocks, for those numbers, 599 million pounds. This number for the end of April, actually okay, running a little higher than the trade guess, but this is still 6% under last year as far as pork stocks as a whole.
Now, I understand that you also have our early estimates here. We've not seen any from anyone, but that's why we have our friends at Allendale joining us. Cattle on Feed report coming out here this week.
That's right. Friday at 2 o'clock in front of a 3-day weekend. We do have this monthly report. Looks like average guess. This is from Urnerberry, the cash meat sourcing information source there. They suggest, actually I've got numbers on, what have I got here? Actually, total placements running 7.2% over last year. Marketing's 1.7% higher as well. Bottom line for this will be 5 of the past 6 months. We'll have higher placements. Therefore, a little pressure on today's trade.
Yeah, now we look at the livestock futures here, live cattle. Let's go to the board and look at the live cattle futures. A lot of analysts suggest any rally right here is to be sold. Certainly, they're putting a little pressure on the cattle futures today.
That's exactly right. As far as the trade's focus, we are going to have this transition away from this very tight supply environment, which we are still in, and certainly supported by the China beef story, the update we've got these past couple of days. But we will transition to a different supply environment and also a slightly reduced demand environment in the coming weeks by late summer.
I'll get the numbers for those tuning in, listening in here specifically. I want to get your thoughts on the pork complex here. We saw the cold storage report, and you gave those numbers as well. Looking at the lean hog futures trade here right now, and your thoughts there in the pork complex, a little higher there, 20, 50 points.
That's exactly right. Good to see this market still kind of flirting with this $80 price for these summer contracts. This is on, for our estimates, a little higher than what we'd like to see right now here. So good to see. We're seeing some still good featuring as far as end-user interest for this cash pork market. Maybe taking a little business away from the beef side of things here in the coming weeks.
Well, I remember a week or so ago we were touching that $80 level in June, and a lot of analysts wanted to see what the market would do. Well, it sold off a couple of days right after it. I think it just missed 80, like 79.85 or something like that.
Exactly right. So we are going to see maybe some slowing futures here trade and waiting for the cash side to catch up. As a reminder, we have next week's slaughter reduced holiday environment, but we'll have another one lined up for full kill weeks once we get into June.
Rich, thanks for your time again, as always. Look forward to keeping in touch with you.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. And our friends at Allendale. As promised, here are the numbers. Live cattle, feeder cattle, and hog futures at this moment. Live quotes from the CME Group. A little lower in live cattle futures right now. The June down 62. August becoming more active here as we move closer to June. August at down 40 points at 121.62. Feeder cattle on the day lower as well. The August down 60, 152.18. And our hog futures, again, a little bit higher right now. See if we end that way. We've touched $80 on that June. Right now, just 8 points below that here, 79.92. Still up 57 points. July up 20 at 80.25. So July over the $80 level and staying there so far.
Okay, thank you, Mark.